I'm a software developer by trade. In this video, I'm going to be showcasing some of the things that I have been working on this past month, and I'm going to be showcasing a new component that I built out for Dash that I think is really powerful, and it opens up a lot of new possibilities. So with that, I try to create stuff that's dynamic. It's a little bit different than most. This is an application that I created, which is like a canvas, where you can easily throw in new components, you can easily throw in web pages, you can like resize it, and you could just move it around on a canvas, as you can kind of see here. So on the left, you can see that this is my shop. On the right, this is the first thing that we're going to be diving into, which is dash-improve-my-llms. We will kind of talk about this new package that I created and how this hook integrates into my work to allow my applications to be usable by LLMs and AI, which is a huge undertaking, especially if you're working within React or JavaScript, because out of the box, these AIs and LLMs, they can't actually read the content of your applications, because this whole thing, because it is reactive, you know, this is a canvas, I could zoom in, I could zoom out, I can move pages, everything is being rendered JavaScript onto the console and the web browser. So for AIs that try to get this or look into this URL, all they're really getting is a blank loading, and they aren't actually getting the content of what is actually on the canvas or within it. So in order to fix this, I needed to solve a few problems, okay? I need AI to be able to know what is going on within my application, what are the pages saying, and what do they contain. So this is where this package comes in handy, and we'll kind of dive about it through this example that I created. So this is a boilerplate documentation which uses a markdown to render format to allow you to embed applications directly within your documentation and to section everything out into limited working examples. Keeps everything clean, organized, and tidy. The other thing that I am leveraging and using more of is AI, obviously. It's a growing trend, and it's just really powerful, and you're able to do a lot with it. So what I wanted to do is, with the documentation that I create, all the different components, all of that stuff, I want to easily be able to hand this over to AI and just be like, hey, work from this, or like use this component, integrate it into my work, this is what I want, you know? So the way that I went about doing this is I created this boilerplate documentation that anybody can use for their own projects and work. But out of the box within this documentation includes this dash-improve-my-llms, which is a separate hook and package, which is already integrated in this. So with that, what does this actually provide? Well, it provides new routes on your URL, which are specific for AI. So this page that you can see right here is made for people. Like, we can easily go through this, we can read it, it looks pretty, we understand it, like, this is documentation. So if I go to these specific routes now, you can see that this is just markdown text, which gives AI and LLMs an ability to just read the content of the page without actually getting all the JavaScript that blocks the content. So basically what I'm doing is I'm using an encoder, and I'm breaking this down into a few different formats. We have the llms.txt, we have a new .loom, which should be integrated fairly soon. I just added it to dash-improve-my-llms. What the .loom does is it makes sure that the token count is as optimized as possible, because whenever you're dealing with AIs and you're asking questions, well, it's reading all the text of what it was provided, and then it's using that as project knowledge to come up with a solution for the problem that you are inquiring about whenever you're trying to, conversate with AI and LLMs through their chatbots. So this provides quick endpoints for every single page, which are automatically created, and I don't have to do anything. So I really want to highlight the importance of this package, and I think the best way to do it is to show you the analytics, as I created an analytics dashboard showcasing how AIs, bots, and search engines can better detect the applications that I'm building and work within them. So this is traffic analysis of what is my Dash documentation boilerplate. And if we go down here, we could see device distribution. So there are 3 different types of devices, bot types. So these are the bots that are visiting the application, which are detected as not human or directly as being a bot from either one of the large LLMs or maybe Google using search engines, or some of the other ones that travel the web and try to gather information from different websites and index it. So as you can see here, there are 23 traditional, there are 87 unknown, there are 10 training bots, and then there are 17 visits. which are focused on search. So for visitors by hour, this is going back towards the people, mostly where you can see desktop, mobile, tablet, bots, and you can equate on how many people and bots are visiting. So these are the most visited pages. You can kind of get an idea of where the bots are going to, where the people are going to, and which ones are they scraping or visiting. And as you can see, the base URL is of course going to be the most popular. And if you work your way down, robots.txt, of course the bots are going to start there, and then they're going to work their way out. Apparently most of the bots stop at robots.txt and they don't go further, but if they did, they do go to example, llms.txt, derivatives, all the 8 pages that are offered. So yeah, recent bot visits, this can actually give you some indication of the bots that are visiting, where they're coming from, what they typically are. So as you can see, this one right here, it says Anthropic, so that's a Claude bot. There's another Claude bot. That's probably just me through testing. But yeah, it's a bunch of different bots that are visiting your applications. And if you dynamically create your applications so that they are able to display 2 bots and 2 people, then it's going to improve on the SEO and have other benefits to allowing LLMs to actually work through your applications. So yeah. So whenever I go to any specific page, like let's just get to like, I don't know, we'll go to custom derivatives. But you can see within this, there are limited working examples which are dynamically being rendered within the documentation itself. So as I increment, you can see that the count goes up, it goes back, and you can build this out much further to showcase individual components. So how I did it, this is my new documentation. This is pip-docs. And then as you can see, there are a ton of different components. I have maybe close to 100,000 downloads between all the components that I built. But basically each one of these components, as you can see, this is a knob, this is a gauge, this is a thermostat, but I have a lot of different types of components. This is like 3D modeling software. I have full calendar, a Scala draw. As you can see, I can, we could just draw, like hello. Doc, this provides for like dynamic switch. The other thing that I provided is I recently upgraded the pip docs a lot. So you'll see that the design looks different if you've ever visited this before. But I also included an AI chat directly within the documentation. So if you have a question, for example, like how can I quickly set up dash doc with 3 windows? So if I just submit this, you'll see that the AI assistant will do its thing and it will give me an explanation of how to quickly set this up with 3 windows so that I could just hit the ground and run. So I could either copy this directly, paste it into my IDE and just work from that, or alternatively, if you're using Claude Code or one of these integrated IDE code editors, then you could just copy the llms.txt. And then if I paste that, then we'll see that this is fairly large. So it breaks out the individual examples and it actually embeds it within the llms.txt. So there's a lot going into this, but basically with an AI having this project knowledge, it will fully have the capabilities to interact with and build -doc components within your own application. And that works for everything that I have here. And there are a lot of projects. I basically archived a lot of components and then I kept the ones that I thought were worth keeping, and I'm just kind of getting everything organized and building out. So let's kind of talk about what is coming next. I really love this this application that I'm building out. But this is like an interactive canvas, and I want to build it out further, but I kind of took a break, step away from it, and work on a new component. This new component might play into this application, or it might play into some of my other work, but basically there are 23 examples, and they're all interactive, and we'll work through them. But just to kind of give you an idea, the inspiration comes from a few different things. I really like the idea of N8N and this idea of just like connecting nodes, as you can see here. So you have like a input node, and then it goes through this system that is automated through the nodes that you set up, and then you have AI agents working through like this path to basically run automated tests or whatever script through this type of interface. So I think that this is pretty cool, and I kind of wanted to take it and kind of build it out into the Dash framework because that's really what I work within, and I don't want to solely be building off a node, but I kind of want to do my own thing. So this is where I came up with React flows. I initially built this out probably like a year or two ago, and I just never really touched it, and it wasn't like fully built out. There's a lot of issues with it. So I finally had some time, and I put in a lot of work, and what this does is allows you to have nodes which connect to other nodes, and then you can kind of see what that does. So for me, we have a bunch of limited working examples. This is one right here. I'll just move this over a little bit so you can kind of see. But I set this up so that it is designed for like production UI UX applications. I based a lot of this off of Dash main time components and how it works because I'm such a heavy user of Dash main time components within my own work. But basically what you can do here is like you could switch like the theme preset. This doesn't look crazy right now, but if I go to like minimal, okay, and if I go to like dark mode, then you can kind of get an idea of what this does. So this is kind of like a glass. So as you can see, the underlay, like you can kind of see the picture as you hover over it, but not really. So I'm using that liquid glass type of UI UX design from Apple to kind of try different things. You can also change the color scheme, as you can see here, to different presets. And yeah, and you can also change the glass blur or the border radius, and it changes in real time. So all these examples are designed to kind of just give you an understanding of what this component does. So you can automatically switch between different layouts, and it already organizes everything. You have on the left-hand side a zoom in, zoom out, fit to screen, and then on the right, out of the box, you have this little mini map. So this is the usage example. We will dive into the code real quick. I won't really show everything because it's a lot, but we'll kind of just start working through it, and I'll at least show you the quick working limited examples. So this is all the node examples. Maybe this could be improved, but this is like a dynamic node which should resize. Kind of seems like half of it is and isn't. We're still trying to work out some of the kinks from all of this. But as you can see, there are two nodes within this. This is also a resizable node. This one works a little bit better. This is a toolbar node, so you can see there's a toolbar that comes above it, input, default, output, and then this one is like a circle node. So right off the bat, those are all the nodes. We can kind of work through this. There are a bunch of different examples, and this is kind of how I'm figuring out what works and what doesn't. So this is a default of edges. This is straight. This is stepped. A stepped edge looks like, I guess I moved it a little bit too much, but as you can see, it kind of goes sideways. This one will always be straight. This is a smooth step. So as you can see, it's rounded corners, where this one is not. It's a straight line. And then this is like almost like it will find its way, and this will also find its way. And I can close that and delete it. So there are a bunch of ways that you can kind of interact with this. You can allow this component to work with Dash main time components dark theme. Elk layouts is an interesting concept. It allows you specific renders for how things appear on the canvas. So as you can see here, this is a actual diagram. All right, now if I go like force directional, you know, it just kind of changes how these things look. So you can kind of play with this, and you can get an idea of like what type of look you're looking for and how these should connect. And yeah, just kind of apply it left to right, bottom down. But there are a few different algorithms that are used to kind of organize the nodes into different structures. So that one's a cool one. This is a complete showcase, which should be a pretty good example. If I just click on it, complete showcase, yeah, there's a lot going on here. You got minimap, dev tools, you can turn that on and off, that's available. You can change how these things work. Controls, hide show, automatically connect, all the stuff was seen through all the other examples. So number 14, Dash components and nodes. Let's see how this works. So as you can see here, as I select, you can see the actual component, and these are like little components within the actual nodes as I was trying to figure out how to get this working. So yeah, next up, if we go back over here, save and restore, connection limits, drag and drop, export to image, so you can save it as an image, copy and paste, context menu. I think these last two are probably the most interesting, but if you'd like to check out all of these, then just go to the GitHub repo and you can explore all these at your own time and kind of get an understanding of how these work. So yeah, this is one that I wanted to show because as you can see, there's a lot going on here, but we have different nodes that are running into different states. We have things moving within the nodes, as you can see here, and yeah, you can simulate different things. So you can also search for nodes. So for example, like let's just say the circle animation. So if I just type in up here, circle, yeah, and then it will show the circle animation. If I click on that, it will take me to that specific node. So yeah, you could add search functionality within this. You could fit to view. You could change the animation speed of these objects that are moving in between the nodes. And yeah, it's just a pretty dynamic, interactive way of kind of showing the movement of data or information between, separate nodes. Okay, last but not least, custom icons. So I'm a big fan of different nodes for different reasons, and that's kind of how I'm planning to build this out. So with that in mind, we have icon nodes, and then you can kind of structure these in different ways. So as you can see, these are stacked. If I go horizontal, then it will position the node like so that you can kind of keep everything condensed. So you can change the individual input or layout of the node itself. And then you can just change the, whatever you want over here. So if I wanted to change this to like a file document or a cloud download, I could just copy cloud download and then I could just paste it in here and then it will get updated. You could change any of these to like hello world, and it will update. So yeah, you have basically within some nodes, like input, output nodes, and just these like transitional nodes, you can have an icon and then you can change how these are formatted from horizontal to vertical and just kind of give a title and a little body text. But yeah, I'm trying to think of everything. I'm trying to like create something that would pair well with some of my other work, and then it could hopefully scale into something that would do React flow justice for the Dash framework and maybe allow projects like N8N and other stuff to be built within the Dash framework. So yeah, there's kind of a lot going on here. If you're interested in that component, just go to my GitHub. And if you work your way down to my repositories, you'll find it. The pip documentation is my documentation. Dash flows is the new, like this application. So you can go over here and right now it's currently in this feature branch, so you need to fork it from that. But I'm currently working on getting that integrated into the project. And moved over to the documentation, so we will be on the site whenever everything is wrapped up. But you can kind of play with it at the moment. I'm trying to get some feedback to see like the best path to kind of design and build this out. But it seems like a very popular component. It's something that a lot of people are kind of interested in. And how would you, use these nodes to create interactive applications? How would this integrate into some of the other software that you're building out, like this, like Canvas, So I don't know. There's a lot of stuff that we could do here. There's a lot of opportunity, and right now is really the time to kind of innovate, get organized, and position yourself to build into 2026. So how are you going about doing that? But yeah, with that, thank you for watching. I know this was a fairly long video, but there was a lot to kind of talk about. And if you liked it, please like and subscribe, support me where you can. And as always, build something amazing, and I'll see you guys in the next one.